Welcome to Real Health with me, Karl Henry. Folks, are you tired of eating the same boring thing at lunch? Hard to find ingredients and recipes that require 1,000 pots. Are they driving you absolutely mad? Well, I'm delighted to say that Nathan Anthony, the #1 best-selling author, chef, and creator of hit food platform Board of Lunch, is on the Real Health podcast today to talk all about his new book, Board of Lunch, 6-ingredient slow cooker. Nathan, welcome to the show. How's it going, dude?
Thanks very much for having me on. I'm absolutely buzzing to be on with you. So, yeah.
Well, we're delighted. So let's get stuck in because I know you have your book launch this evening. So we're very honoured to have you on before that, I must say. What made you write the book? You know, your other books have sold incredibly well. We know that. The stats speak for themselves. 6 ingredients, very clever.
Yeah, I think there's other kind of similar concept books out there, or 7 ingredients, or 6 ingredients, and 5 ingredients. But I wanted to do a 6 ingredient slow cooker book, so it kind of was like a 1-pot book and 6 ingredients in 1 pot to try and make life just even easier for people that have busy jobs and busy lives. And I'd floated the idea with the publisher, and I'd said, what about a 6 ingredient slow cooker book? And they're like, but can it be done? Like, can you actually do it? And I was like, yeah, definitely we can do it. So yeah, quickly started writing, and then we loved the first 10, 15 recipes and said, let's go for a whole book on 6 ingredient slow cooker recipes. But yeah, it was just, the aim was to make people's lives easier with cooking and inspire them with recipes that use minimal ingredients but maximize on flavor and kind of hopefully help people in terms of their purse and the cost to make their meals. So yeah, that was the reason why we done that book.
And for people who don't follow you on Instagram or haven't got your books in their kitchen, tell us a little bit more about you and your story, I suppose, to date. It's been a phenomenal one.
Yeah, so I don't come from a chef background. I graduated and had a very corporate job, traveling an awful lot, and then lockdown hit. Couldn't go anywhere, couldn't go outside. Well, I could go outside, but I couldn't meet anybody outside, couldn't go to the cinema. And I was working from home, and I just thought, what am I going to do? So I just started uploading what I was eating. It used to be called Board of Lunch Belfast, actually, but we had to drop the Belfast eventually. And yeah, it just took off. It just exploded really, really quickly. I was just uploading what I was eating, what I was cooking, and I suppose it came to the stage where everybody was bulk buying pasta and tinned food, and I just thought, what if I'm uploading like nutritious recipes that'll help people's immune system and get them away from tinned food during the pandemic? Would it make a difference? And it did, and it just really took off. So but yeah, very, very grateful and pinch myself that I'm in this position now where we're 5, 6, 7 books and beyond. It's been crazy. But yeah.
In all fairness, even the tag Board of Lunch, people do get bored of lunch and their meals on the same thing over and over and over and again. And with limited budget or limited cooking skills, it's a big problem.
Yeah. No, I think so as well. And I suppose even sometimes I can get bored as well. Sometimes I'll try and flick through my books and say, what will I make this week? But I think that's the thing. Everybody can get stuck in a rut. But yeah, it's just trying to train your palate to try different ingredients and different flavors and batch cook and batch prep and, turn a bolognese into a chili con carne, just being really, really creative where you don't get bored of the same food. Because there is that habit where people can get in a rut on every week. They buy the same ingredients and they make the same dishes. And it's like Tuesday's curry night, Wednesday's bolognese. But yeah, if you just plan ahead and plan your meals and obviously use the cookbooks, you won't be bored of lunch or bored of any meal for that matter. But yeah.
And for the new book, are there 6 ingredients? Are there 6 things that pop up time and time again? Or do they change massively over the course of the recipes in the book?
No, that was a massive thing for me, Karl. It was trying to use ingredients that would be consistently used throughout the book. There's a big section at the front of the book. It's called Swap and Save. So it lists all of the recipes by the page number and by the ingredients. So it'll show you double cream, and it'll show you every single recipe that has double cream or creme fraiche. So basically, if you open a pot of cream or creme fraiche, you can say, right, well, there's all the recipe pages that I can use this pot in and not have to throw some out. Because it's something, opening something and you're like, right, I'll use half that, but what'll do with the rest of it? So that was a massive thing for me, is using common ingredients or just kind of the same ingredient throughout the book to save people money and to stop them having to buy so many ingredients. Because I think I've bought a lot of cookbooks before, and you buy them, and first of all, you see ingredients that you don't know what they are, and then secondly, it involves a lot of ingredients as well. So I tried to factor that in when I was writing the book.
Do you think people's culinary skills have got better due to COVID, or do people really not have a sense or knowledge of what what to put into stuff, and that the culinary kind of knowledge is quite low anyway?
No, I actually do think during COVID everybody was being a bit more adventurous with food, and I would definitely say people has tried to tap into different techniques and different styles of cooking that they probably wouldn't have done if they weren't locked in the house. Like, I started making my own pizza dough, which I would never normally do, but when you have the time and you want to do these things, you really can do it. But I would definitely say people's got better throughout the pandemic. Everybody was cooking at home. Everybody was getting those. Do you remember the restaurant kit where we're cooking?
Yeah. I was only thinking about that when I came up. I was reading the brief on the way up for the interview, and I was like, I remember getting those big restaurant boxes with how to cook it and what to do. I just gave you something to do, because you couldn't go out for dinner, so you kind of getting the box delivered, and we got several of them. I'd totally forgotten about it. It was brought back lots of memories. Do you consider calories in the book in terms of the recipes? Are they calorie counted?
The recipes are calorie counted, but it's not a diet book. It's not a slimming book. I'm a massive believer in healthy balance. You'll find a recipe on one page that instead of using cream, it uses soft cheese. On the next page, you'll see we're using chocolate and red wine and like a chocolate fondant or something. There is calories, but I always think it's all about balance. Don't restrict yourself, and try and incorporate as many ingredients into your diet as possible. There is macros there as well for people who are in kind of really, really into it, and the recipes are pre-logged and apps like MyFitnessPal and for people that are really, really into that or have an interest in it. I personally, I track my protein and I track my calories, but not everybody does. But they're there in the background. They're nice to have, or they're there if you want them, but it's not a diet book or a reduced calorie squeezed book. That we use butter, we use oil, but use it sensibly where you get that balance without having to restrict yourself on calories.
And we're going to get asked this on Instagram when we post this. I'm going to ask you in person, what is a slow cooker? I know it's a really simple question, but people will absolutely ask me in the Q&A next week if we don't ask you and we don't clarify it, because we all know what an air fryer is and we all know what a cooker is. Presumably, is a slow cooker something that cooks food slowly, but I'm going to ask you that.
I've never been asked what a slow cooker is, but I think if you don't have one, they've been around for a long time. It's a really low heated pot that runs pretty much on a light bulb's energy, where you can put your food in and it cooks at a very low temperature. And it's fantastic for 1, saving money, 2, saving time, and 3, planning ahead. You throw stuff into the slow cooker in the morning and go to work and come back and your dinner's done. And it's a really good way of increasing flavour as well. If something's been cooking for a long period of time, I think it tastes better because the flavours have had a lot more time to develop and kind of unlock itself in the pot or dish. So yeah, I love a slow cooker. I used them at university. The first time I used a slow cooker was at university. It was when I was living in a house with 6 people and everybody was coming home from lectures, fighting over the hob or fighting over the oven. I would have loaded the slow cooker up and come home and I was like, yeah, enjoy yourself. Fight over the hob. I have my slow cooker here. I'm happy enough. And yeah, I think for a long time, slow cookers were perceived as kind of I don't know, someone called it once a granny's gadget type thing. It was like but I think they've got really cool, like, I've lots of students would use them as well now. A lot like people my age and younger are saying, these are great. I can go to work or I can go to university, or I can drop my kids to swimming and put the slow cooker on and come back and dinner sorted. So yeah, they're a revolutionary gadget that has been around for a long time. That's underrated.
And of course, that idea of one pot is super handy. Like you're not juggling 3 or 4 pots on the go or trying to make a dinner or whatever. You slash it all in. Amazing.
Yeah, put it all in. Yeah, and yeah, it's always, there's no arguments after dinner who's washing up. You just have one pot, just steep it, and then come back to it whenever you've watched the news or done whatever you have to do in the evening.
Chat to me about the brand. I'm intrigued by that too. Like, you've got a huge social following, huge. and you're on This Morning, so you're talking to cameras to millions of people. How do you find all of that? Because that presumably wasn't part of the plan initially.
The thing is, with Board of Lunch, I set it up and there was no plan and no agenda for it to become anything. I didn't set it up with the intention of it to become any kind of job or any source of income or anything like that. It was just a lockdown. So here's something for me to do whilst I'm working from home and can't go anywhere. See, it has just completely exploded. And I think I was speaking to someone yesterday and they'd asked me a similar question. And it does at sometimes feel like I've went into some reality show and come out and all, because you have to bear in mind that Board of Lunch has only been around for 4 years, which, considering we're on our 5th book and we're doing TV and we've nearly 6 million followers and published in so much, it's not a long period of time for all of that to happen. So yeah, it has been a whirlwind. So sometimes it feels like I've gone into like some type of Big Brother show and come out and there's all of these people that, oh, you're Board of Lunch. So yeah, that is what it feels like sometimes. But take every day as it comes. Like, I still get really nervous. I still get nervous. I do. Yeah, oh, for sure. Like, I'm on This Morning again next week and I'm already thinking, right, the nerves will be back the day before. Here they go.
And presumably cooking on live telly brings a huge amount of pressure with it.
I think you're always worried, will something go wrong? Will I forget one of the ingredients, or will I do something, or will I set the place on fire? Will something happen? And those things can happen. Normally they're within your control. We had a recipe that didn't particularly go as well as we wanted it to one time, but you just move on and just say, listen, this is the way things go in the kitchen. Sometimes. Okay,
so you kind of you own it. If it goes our space, you just kind of take ownership of it.
Do you know what? I was on. It was about, I think it was last month, and the producers on This Morning had said, "Oh, let's do a flatbread in the air fryer." And I was like, I make my flatbreads, but I've never made them in the air fryer. And they says, yeah, let's do it. And I remember I'd served the food up. I think it was like tandoori chicken or something. It was like, and it was going with a flatbread and a nice yogurt. And I opened the air fryer and it looked like a cauliflower. And I was like, oh, I was just checking it. I closed the air fryer again. And I just thought, what am I going to do here? And started chatting. It was Rylan Clark and Josie Gibson with the presenters. And I just thought, you know what? Just tell them. And I just said, guess what? And they're like, what? I said, the flatbreads didn't work. And
they're not flat.
Yeah, they didn't work. So sometimes just own it. And sometimes in the kitchen, even professional chefs, I've been at big cooking road shows where you have celebrity chefs and professional chefs. And sometimes things don't go to plan, and you just have to factor that in and just roll with it. And if it doesn't work out, just own up and fess up. Yeah, it didn't work, but yeah, I do get nervous. But yeah, it does get easier. From when I first done live TV, my face was like a tomato. I just went pure red. Honestly, it was the 6 o'clock show in Ireland.
Oh, and see on Virgin Media. Oh yeah,
yeah. And that was the first show that I had done live TV. And honestly, I look back at the photos and I was like, my face is like a tomato. Like, genuinely, look at my face. And they put makeup on you, like just because of the studio lighting. But even through the makeup, my face was still glowing. But yeah,
what's your friends and family make of the whole thing?
Oh, they're just like, that similar to me. They're very, very proud, but at the same time, we're like, we genuinely can't believe this is what it's become. Like, sometimes I do think like it's like, I was on a tube there the other day and someone was like, I make all of your food. I was like, this is mad that someone on a tube in London knows who I am and I have cookbooks and do TV. So it sometimes you just have to say this is crazy that this is what it's become. But I'm so grateful. I don't take it lightly, and I appreciate how lucky I am, and there is luck involved as well. But there's also a lot of hard work has gone into I can't remember the last time I had a day off properly where I didn't look at something to do with social media or Board of Lunch. So I have worked so hard, but I'm very lucky and grateful that it's become this beast as to what it is.
And do you have a favorite recipe from the new book? Horrible question, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, there's two. I'll give you that is a hard question. There's two recipes. We're actually having them tonight at the book launch. It's a lamb with like a balsamic gravy. You make like a lovely balsamic reduction, and it's made with the lamb, and it's this lovely gravy, only using 6 ingredients, so easy to make. And then we have the world's largest chocolate fondant made in a slow cooker. You probably have seen that on my social media recently. We posted it, and we used Terry's chocolate orange, and it's just this big, enormous chocolate fondant made in a slow cooker. So Yeah, so there you go, savory and sweet. That's my favorite.
One of the great things I love from the notes when I was reading them was that every recipe is triple tested, and I was like, okay, I'm really reassured by that.
I know, yeah, triple tested. Yeah. You have to. I think when you're putting something out there, you have to make sure that the recipes work, and the people are getting so much value from their hard-earned cash, and they're supporting buying the book. So it's important that the recipes work.
On that note, or on that train of thought, it takes a huge amount of time making a book like this, doesn't it? And people don't appreciate just how much work you put into it, and the time to get the recipes now, get them right, and get them tested, and the photographer. Like, there's a huge juggernaut of work that goes into it.
Yeah, no, it's usually around a year's. It takes a year from pen to publication. I've just made that up, actually. Just that I quite like that, pen to publication.
Good.
Yeah, it's good. I might coin that.
That'll be in tonight's speech in the for the book launch. Yeah.
I know I might use that tonight. But yeah, it does take about a year. It's a long, I'm on my 5th book now, and it's still there's still parts of the journey that I'm getting my head around. There's just so many different things. There's copy editing, and there's things that we do. There's dietitians that look at the calories and making sure that things aren't too salty, and that we can tweak things as well. We check things for cultural appropriation, that we're not, saying that this recipe when it's not very authentic. There's just so many different layers within a cookbook that you have to make sure that it cuts the mustard. But yeah, the copy editing and the testing, the photo shoots, the nutritional checks, the pulling it together, and that's outside of the actual writing the book. So, but yeah,
huge process.
5th book, long process.
Listen, you have a busy evening ahead. You've got your book launch, so thank you so much for joining us before that. We really appreciate it, Nathan. So your new book, Board of Lunch, 6-ingredient slow cooker, is out in bookstores nationwide from today. We really appreciate it. No doubt it'll be a huge seller. We've no question about it whatsoever. Folks, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode of Real Health. As ever, you know where we are, at Karl Henry PT on Instagram, realhealth@independent.ie, and on the Irish Independent website. Don't forget, if you liked what you heard, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. We'll see you next week for more Real Health. Slán go fóill.